All right, we are back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Boy, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. And I'm joined today by Gary from Trekkerprise, who hasn't been on the show in like 20 million years.
Wow.
It's nice to
47
see
years.
you. And
Nice to be
Arthur's
back.
here today too, and of course Sean from Trek on the Tube, who has been on the show a lot. You're
Recently,
like
yeah.
practically a co-host. You and Hubbard are
Recently, I've
tied.
been on. No, I wouldn't say
Yes.
that.
Yes. So last time you saw Gary on the show, he was a bachelor, but ladies, I'm sorry, Gary is now married, so say goodbye. And then last time Sean was on the show, he was not a father, but now he is a father. So congratulations to you, Sean. And I'm sure the audience, like all three of them, will reach out to you and say congratulations as well.
Well, thank you.
That's still what's right here, right now.
Was I technically not a father yet, though? Considering my wife was pregnant, does that count as being a father or not?
Isn't it that? Aren't you like a father the moment your child is like in your hands, though? Or
Okay,
no? I guess you're not. No,
but
you're right.
is she a mother being pregnant?
Yes, because she has to mother the child into the world.
Okay, but then I only get to be a father the moment the child is born.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't know. That's just
so that's where the 9 months of decision making and choices comes in for the man if he wants to leave or not.
Oh
No,
my
just kidding.
God.
Just kidding.
Oh my gosh, you took it way darker than I was gonna go with that. So you killed the joke really nicely. Good job. Yes, but okay. So fine, you were a father before, but now you are a present father. I don't know. Like,
I'm actively a father.
The baby can see you now.
I can do fatherly things.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
I could only do husbandly things.
Ah, that's a really good way of describing it. I like that. That's very nice. And I'm still single, so gentlemen, if you're if you're interested, you know how to get a hold of me for dates. It'll be a very casual and informal date.
Someone else is looking for a daddy.
For what? Behave. Oh my. So we're here to talk about the Star Trek The Next Generation episode Conundrum, and I think already our discussion is more exciting than this episode was. But
oh wow,
I'm not revealing my rating till the end, but I think you'll be very surprised.
You just revealed it.
I think you'll be very surprised. So I think Gary, are you ready to tackle the summary?
Well, considering the fact that I did not expect this,
yes,
episode,
Gary's unexpected,
and I'm like,
Gary is a surprise guest that hasn't watched.
I'm a surprise guest. I'm a surprise because you didn't expect me. It's a surprise because I didn't expect this either. So, okay, give you the short summary. I give you the short summary.
Okay.
The crew's memories of who they are and everyone else around them are erased. Kira McDuff, who is mysteriously appeared as soon as the crew's memories were damaged, claims to be the first officer and its intent on waging war.
Perfect. That's actually really. Where did you read that from?
You got that from where?
For more information, go to trekker.com.
Oh, nice. From now on, we should only read our summaries from Trekcore, because that was actually exactly.
How is that informal? How is that casual?
Okay, so because I did not have information what episode going to be on today, plus I wasn't expecting on it, so I can.
Right.
I was reading the synopsis, and so if I remember this episode correctly, plus having the synopsis in front of me, so basically, an alien ship scanned the Enterprise, and everyone got their memory deleted, and I do remember this guy who pretended to be the first officer, and William Riker was like in third of command, like in and basically everyone started to think like who they are. They didn't know anything about themselves, and this Lysian ship That's referenced from Trekcore as well. Lysian's ship, they had to go into the system and they had to destroy this because it was a threat, but it wasn't a threat. It's just this alien entity who, presented himself as the first officer of the Enterprise. He was having an affair with these issue with these guys, and they wanted to destroy using the Enterprise to this station, if I remember correctly.
No, you're right. He wasn't having an affair with them, but yes.
Well, I mean,
although Ensign Rowe and Riker,
they almost turned it up. Or they had it?
No, they did. They were like doing it all throughout the episode. There was a lot.
Oh my god!
There was a lot of commingling happening between the two of them.
Yeah, I kind of remember the awkward moments at the end of the episode when they like got back their mind and hey, we just not talk about it anymore. Like similar to Data and Tasha Yar.
Oh, poor Data.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that covers it. What do you have anything to add to that, Sean?
No.
Yeah, I think you're both.
No.
For not having seen the episode in a long time, you did a really great job of recapping.
I did see it. I did watch the trailer just now.
Oh no. Next time on an exciting episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. That's how the guy sounds in the original trailer.
Pulled out your radio voice.
Yeah, it was like in this episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation, a crazy alien appears on the bridge and tries to manipulate the crew after they've lost their minds. Find out what happens. Will Data sleep with Counselor Troy? Will Counselor Troy remember that she loves Riker? Riker will sleep with everyone. Yeah, so I really had a hard time.
You should do this for Discovery. You're really good at it.
I really had a hard time watching this episode for some reason, and I watched it twice actually. I watched it like a few weeks ago, and I didn't like it, and I'd forgotten about it actually, so I probably didn't like it when I was a kid.
Your memory was erased too.
Yeah, my memory of it was erased. I think. And then watching it this time, I was like, oh my gosh, there are actually episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation that I don't like.
Wow, that's something big.
This is the episode that you choose to use that sentence and say that there are episodes that you don't like.
Yes,
this is amazing.
Wow,
you blow my mind. You really do. I'm sure the Doctor would have something to say about that.
I think he would. I don't know. I did confer with him because we always check in to see if he's available. And he couldn't remember the episode either. He kept confusing it with the other time that the crew lose their memory, which is the xenophobic episode. Remember, like the xenophobic planet? They kept Data was the only one that knew.
Okay.
Yeah, so he kept.
I look puzzled. I don't remember that episode.
That's the episode where like this, they leave clues and Data figures out like Data's the only one that remembers.
Yeah, it's called Clues actually. If the episode might be called Clues.
Cause and effect is something else.
Cause and effect, is it?
Cause and effect is something else. Cause and
effect is the Frasier episode. The episode with the ship that keeps coming through the space-time anomaly and destroying the Enterprise, and then they just keep looping and looping over and over.
That's one of those mini episodes where like Picard is the only thing that survives the time loop or something.
No, it's the one. That's the one where all hands abandon ship. All hands abandon ship. You know which one I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
That's cause and effect. But no, so going back
we should do GIFs on a website that describe what episode it is, and that accurately describes the episode. All hands abandon ship.
Oh, hands abandoned ship. And then there's fire in front of it.
We can do this in the future episodes, like when you have a memorable moment and you can just refer to that, like summarize the episode, and there you have a
really
moment.
Database 1 will take care of that.
Database 1. Yes, Gary. Since you've been gone, we've appointed we have a few positions open on the show. So actually, this is a good time. This is a good time to talk about the show a little bit. So we have a few positions open on the show. So we're looking for a database one, a person who keeps track of all our ratings, maybe even highlights of every episode of Starfleet Boy.
Any applicants at the moment?
No, we don't have any applicants at the moment. So put it out to your network, though. It's a non-paid position. Except for maybe gifts, like presents.
I see.
Well, would be very grateful.
We would be very grateful. It's true.
So eternal gratitude.
So are you asking me to ask someone, or are you asking me to do it?
No. Oh my gosh, I love how Gary always wants more work. No.
You don't have
no more
time, Gary.
No more work.
No.
No more work for you. You're quite tied up with the show's presence. What did you guys think of Conundrum? Well, not you, Gary. Unless you can remember.
I do remember vaguely a long time ago when I watched it. I think it was quite a few years ago when I rewatched TNG on its entirety. But I don't. I remember the episode was a bit weird, and I was just kept thinking, like, who's this guy, and then what happened? Did I miss something? Like, did I miss a couple of episodes because they didn't show it on TV, and then they just changed Riker and they got this new character? So that's what my first confusion, and then like, what's happening? No one knows about anything, and that was a weird part. And then obviously during the episode, like, okay, there's something off with them, and then obviously when the guy revealed himself, in a sense, for us, not for them.
I think to me, like, McDuffie's character was probably my biggest problem. That character McDuffie was my biggest problem with the episode because
Macduff. Make him sound more corny than he actually is.
What is your name again,
McDuffie?
McDuffie? I don't remember you. Is that I wish that they surprised the audience as well as they don't know who he is. They assume he's someone who's been on the bridge, right? But the way that they present him, it's really super obvious to us that, oh, this is the bad guy. So there's like, to me, that's one of the problems I had with the show, with this episode, is that, like, knowing that he was up to something, it was fun to watch the crew figure things out and, like, ultimately act the way a Starfleet crew should act, even with their memories, remove. But, like, there was no excitement that I think could have easily been generated had they done something like, this guy walks onto, we'll still know, oh, that's a guest star, that's a new person. But if he had less scenes, and if he was more of, like, someone who just walked in, like, was called, like, who's the they could have said, who's, like, the technician or something like that. So by placing him in second in command and, like, all that stuff, it just, like, made it, I think that was the easiest way to just, like, tell the story, maybe. But I think there would have been perhaps a more intricate way of telling it, which would have also fooled us. And, like, there would have been a reveal at the end, like, oh yeah, who the heck is this guy? Whoa, I don't know.
Okay, so following up on that, let's jump right in. I agree. They, instead of having him as like another person, they have him pretty much replace Riker, because he's like Riker. They put him in second command, which is, I think, what Data is supposed to be.
Right.
So everyone gets like kind of demoted, and then he's the executive officer, so he's number one essentially. And so you automatically know the moment the episode begins, there's a problem, because this guy's not number one. He's never been number one, and we sure as hell know that he won't be.
Right.
So that's a bit of an issue. My big question is, why doesn't he just put himself in the personnel files as captain?
Yeah,
because then he could have just made all the decisions, and then because he's I know technically he didn't modify any of the files. He just corrupted some, like, so he managed to, like, hack their system and stop them from discovering things about who they are. But then he could have easily added a personnel file about himself, especially considering he created a uniform and everything. So
another problem I had,
he could have just said, "I'm the captain," and then given the orders. And then even if I don't know, Helm Officer Patrick Stewart, Helm Officer Picard didn't agree, he could have turned around and said, you know, this doesn't feel good, but he would have been the captain and he would have said, just do it.
Even because some other people, Worf would definitely have been following his orders, right? Like,
absolutely, Worf would have been all over this. Like, yes, war.
I am decorated as well.
I am decorated.
My Worf impression is the same exact voice as my Captain Picard impression. It's kind of weird.
It's fine. It works. It's good.
So yeah, the other.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Well, piggybacking off what you were saying, and Gary, the other issue I had with it was, so the Lycians and whoever these guys were are obviously at war with each other, and so like the plan of this alien was, okay, I'm gonna wipe everyone's memory, take over the ship, corrupt all the files so they don't know who they are, and get the Enterprise to destroy the starbase of the Lycians, right? And the first encounter the Enterprise has in Lycian space with those ships, they just like boop 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 boom, they're like destroyed with no effort whatsoever, right? So but yet the enemy of the Lycians, the guy who takes over the Enterprise, can subdue. They have the technology to actually erase everyone on the whole ship's mind. Like, they didn't just erase like a few people's mind. They had the technology to like completely erase the memories of all 1,001 or 4 people, including on Data. The Enterprise. What's that?
Including Data.
Including Data, yeah, who's a complex. Like, it's not a and other kinds of, there's Andorians and, Tellarites, and we presume, although we never see them, and
Troy's
yeah, and Troy, like, so somehow this technology is awesome enough to do that, yet they need the Enterprise to destroy their enemies. So there's another flaw, I think, in the logic of the villain here, where it's like, well, if you have that kind of technology, why aren't you just doing that to your enemies? And also, why don't you have better lasers? Like, what's wrong with you?
I'm gonna have to be devil's advocate in this. I feel, because I enjoyed the episode. I think I enjoyed the episode. It's not the best trick out there, but I think it is interesting. Okay, so they do address this in the end. Picard and Riker are talking, and they do mention that their weapons aren't destructive enough, so they have equal firepower, both races, but they don't. But the race that managed to mind wipe the Enterprise, what am I trying to say? How am I trying to explain this? Essentially, both essentially both races are equal when it comes to firepower, but the bad guys of this episode have this technology to erase minds, but it's never said that this is a common technology for them. So you could assume that they've developed this weapon, like they've developed this thing, they can only do it once. So instead of going off and trying to do it to like one of the enemy ships, which is pointless, they do it to like an outside ship, which has the strength and firepower to help them. The plan, this detonation thing, or this we can do this only once, because then it's gonna completely fry out all the circuits and everything. So we need to do this on a ship that'll have actual consequence in this war, and so that's why they choose the Enterprise.
Fair enough.
So they could have done it to like a Klingon bird of prey or something. I feel like, because
more weaponry,
more weaponry, and not to say that Klingons are dumb, but I think that Klingons aren't so much bent on investigation.
Right.
And so they're more inclined to attack anything that needs to be attacked. So I think he could have kind of convinced a Klingon crew a lot more easily than he tried to convince literally the flagship of the Federation.
That's true. And then you can cloak your ship, and then you don't have to worry. You just go straight to the thing. I also didn't like that the a little pet peeve, the space station of the enemy is the god of the Edo from that episode on the Naked Planet.
Yeah, exactly. That's something that I did notice from the trailer, obviously. The station looked exactly the same as I didn't remember that episode, but it looked familiar.
Yeah,
And I
it
think
was
that wasn't just the only episode. That I think like 2 or 3 episodes actually that they used this the same design, or they just swapped a few places around, but it was exactly the same
Yeah, and
station.
so to me that seemed like okay, well, unless the Lycians they meant to connect that to the other episode, but it got written out, or like it never made it on screen. But as my memory recalls, they're not in any way related. So it was a little bit of a like, oh, couldn't you design a new station? It's
But they do
fine.
this often.
Do they? I guess
It's a
there
common
is
thing,
there
especially
there
with
are
matte paintings, that kind of stuff. They usually use the matte paintings. It's just the same cityscapes over and
yeah,
over
I
again.
Oh
agree.
yeah.
Yeah, it's true. But it's
When it comes
disappointing
when it
when
comes
that
to cost when it comes
it's
to
disappointing
costumes,
when that
everyone's
happens
wearing
too.
onesies.
That's
I mean, fine, they might change the color, like, oh, this guy's in a purple onesie, this guy's in a gray onesie, but it's the same thing. You're gonna tell me that these completely separate and different species that evolved in completely different ways have come up that like the best clothing is a onesie.
they're spacesuits, Sean. They're spacesuits.
Yeah, I agree. But okay, I'm gonna be harsh on Discovery, but these are the kind of things that I can blame Discovery, because it is coming out in the modern era. Whereas back in the 90s, it was more complicated. They had like a tighter budget, they had a tighter schedule, and so considering, I think by the end of this episode, maybe in following what your thoughts are, maybe they thought it's not really going to matter anyway. So let's just throw in this space station. Is it exactly the same, or did they modify it somewhat?
No, it looked exactly the same. But wait, how are you going to be harsh on Discovery? What are you going to say?
Because Discovery, I wouldn't excuse this.
Oh, if it did it, you're saying if
Yeah.
Discovery did this, you wouldn't.
If Discovery reused one of their Klingon ship models in season 2, but said it was a Romulan,
right?
or no, sorry, because that maybe we could find an argument there to say that the technology was shared. But if they said, "Oh, this is now an Andorian ship," and they used the same model, then I would say, no, you can't do that.
Yeah,
regardless of what I think of the ship design itself, you just can't use the same one for two different Liganda and then have it as something else. Then it wouldn't work, because we are in the modern era, and I mean, their CG isn't so good that it justifies that they can only use it once in a while. Their CG it's all right, it's good, it's just good for a show.
Hey, Gary, have you seen The Expanse yet?
No.
Are you going to?
God damn it.
I'm not sure. Should I?
Yeah, man.
It's the best science fiction on television.
It's like the best science fiction.
Like right now, I guess. Is it?
What's that?
Like right now.
Like at the moment.
Is the best science fiction at the moment, or?
Yeah. I wish we could say Star Trek Discovery was the best science fiction at the moment, but truly, The Expanse is. It is.
I know I learned a lot of people will say that Battlestar Galactica is the best sci-fi that has ever been on TV.
I think The Expanse is looking to surpass it. I don't think you can say it till the show ends. You know what I mean? Like,
that's fair. I haven't seen Battlestar Galactica, and The Expanse isn't over, but The Expanse is hands down the best science fiction I've ever seen on TV.
And it's insane. It's really good.
If you were to compare everything, because this isn't just story, this is like story and visual effects, and the acting is amazing, the costumes, just everything is insane, and like how should I say, the imagination. I know it is based off books, so it does make things easier, or harder, maybe. Depends on what we look at.
I kind of wish that Old Man Picard is like what's her name? The you don't know this yet, Gary, but what's her name? Dara Deswala. I can't even say her name.
She's in Beyond. She's in Star Trek Beyond.
Star Trek Beyond, Admiral Paris in Star Trek Beyond.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know the name of the.
You know what's awesome is I was watching. I think it was season 2 of The Expanse, maybe. And I thought she's an amazing actress, and I would love to see more of her. And then they announced Star Trek Beyond reshoots with her, And so she was added, like all of her scenes were added with the reshoots. I was like, this is amazing. They just took the actor that I love and then put her in a movie that I'm looking forward to. Anyway.
And were you satisfied? Was you satisfied with it? With her acting in Discovery?
Oh yeah,
no,
she's fantastic.
I'm satisfied. In The Expanse, her acting is amazing. In Star Trek Beyond, I like. It's hard to say that her acting is amazing simply because she doesn't have that much to do.
She has like 5 lines. No, but she's got good. She gives Kirk a nice nice little like chiding, like a speech there. You know, it was like.
But then, the thing is, once you come out of The Expanse and you see how, like, how should I say this? She's not just strong; she's commanding, right?
Avasarala. Christian Avasarala. Thank you. I couldn't remember. And the actress's name is Shore Agdashlu.
It'll take me a while to remember that. But okay, so she has this commanding kind of.
We're probably from the same culture, and I can't.
Oh yes.
Anyway, sorry. Go on.
No, she's got a strong presence in The Expanse. So when you see her on screen in Star Trek Beyond, like if you've already seen The Expanse, it kind of translates over. So even with her few lines, then you kind of get that. I don't know, an echo of the commanding presence that she has in The Expanse.
I think, Gary, one of the most important things that you'll hopefully you'll love the show The Expanse, and we got to stop talking about it because it's not about The Expanse, but hopefully you'll love The Expanse. But I think the most important thing is that when you watch the show The Expanse, you actually feel like you are living in that universe. Like it's so fleshed out and real, and the details and everything that's put into it, from production to writing, all the thought that's put into it. Like it's not a show without flaws, of course. I don't know, that there is one, but it's one where you forgive the flaws because everything else is just so well done. And I just think that, like, I know.
I watch a lot of TV, and every time I finish a season of any show, I can say, oh, this I didn't like, this I didn't like, but there are 2 shows that I can't find flaws for. It's Better Call Saul and The Expanse.
Fascinating.
But I'm sure there are flaws, and I'm sure they're not perfect. It's just me.
I hope they just steal the writers from The Expanse and put them on the Old Man Picard show, because I think that they could turn that show into something insane that Star Trek has never done before, and it's also set in the future, which makes me super happy.
The craziest thing is, no disrespect to Enterprise at all. And though Enterprise didn't necessarily take the route that I wanted it to take, it still works within the Star Trek universe, and I accept it. I like it, but we could take away Enterprise and put The Expanse in its place, and I'm sure it would work quite fine. It
would be an amazing, if The Expanse. That's the other thing that's great about The Expanse, Gary, is that it kind of is Star Trek.
Yeah,
in a way.
It really is, because you're following a group of people that they want to do good. And they have trouble. They have this drama more than in TNG, but they. Well, I mean, come on. No, there's no drama in TNG. There is in this episode a little bit.
There was
with
drama
with Ro and Riker in the beginning.
Yes, nice bringing it back.
Anyway, no, the Expanse is great, and you should watch it, and everyone should.
And that was our Expanse moment on Starfleet.
There's an Expanse promo in every episode now.
There is an Expanse promo in just about every episode. It's true. So I guess I should point out things that I did enjoy about the episode, since I mostly did not enjoy the episode. I think the little moment, actually the episode begins wonderfully. I thought that little moment where Data and Counselor Troy are playing chess, and then he makes her a Sumerian sunset. So I think this might be, I don't know, I have to consult the trivia, but this might be the first time we see a Sumerian sunset, which is a very popular drink on Deep Space Nine and Drunk Space Nine.
We learned that Troy beats Data in chess.
Or could potentially, because there's she just beats
she beat him.
Yeah, that's it. She beat him.
They give up, he says, you put me in mate in 7 moves, and then they just
he's convinced that it's over. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. That's true.
So Troy's better than Data on chess.
Which, hey, you never know. She could be a chess grandmaster because a lot of oh, look how he's so cute sleeping, my little kitty. It's like that's like my baby. Whoops.
Only on Starfleet Boy do we literally interrupt the podcast to talk about a sleeping cat.
Well, sleeping cats are like some of the cutest things ever.
You know what? There's one thing that I just referring to the chess game. One thing I don't really get it. Then and there was an episode. I'm not sure which season was it, but with Laxana Troy when she got abducted by the Ferengis, and Laxana, Diana, and Will Riker, they got abducted by Damon Tog, and they were in her ship. And who started to play chess with with the Ferengi?
Wasn't it Riker?
It wasn't Diana. It was Riker.
Yeah.
But then if I'm just assuming if Diana is a really good chess player, she would have been playing that game as well.
But
maybe would have been fun.
Maybe Riker's better than her.
Or maybe the Ferengis didn't want to get beaten up by a woman. I don't know.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. Maybe the Ferengi wouldn't accept a game against a woman.
That's true.
That's a female. True.
That's a very good point. You just answered your own question. I love it. The other thing I liked was I did think that the cast performed the crappy writing really beautifully. No, it's not crappy writing. It was all right. But I think the performances were great. It was fun to watch the interplay and for them to actually change their roles. Like that was an interesting part of the show where like you kind of saw the crew, how their Starfleet training kicks in no matter what. Like even if you don't remember you're the captain, like there's that one scene, and this is kind of like a great. So here's like I guess the winning thing about this episode for me was that like it did show that like if you can collaborate without ego, which is one of the things that they teach us at my job, which I'm not going to talk about too much, but if you collaborate without ego, you can actually still accomplish like your mission or like cause things to work despite like these circumstances that are like extraordinary. And I think that's like one thing that Star Trek teaches, which is a good lesson to know in essence. So I did love that. I did like how we got to see what Worf might have been like as a captain in the episode, which is kind of cool. Like you actually see that he's not his full self, but he's still making like pretty reasonable decisions. He didn't just go and blow everything up, even though that was his instinct. He did.
But that's actually a really good, well, not callback, but obviously because DS9 came off the TNG. But in DS9, he ended up commanding the Defiant, which was his little side project as a commander, and actually he turned out really good. I mean, Sean, you watched most of DS9. I'm not sure where
I think they're done. You guys finished DS9, right?
The full rewatch?
Yeah.
No, we're at season 3.
Gotcha.
Because we didn't watch all DS9 and then all Voyager.
So it's like a little semi spoiler, but I'm pretty sure you know that.
No, I know. I've seen it.
Worf was so Worf commanded the Defiant quite a lot, plus other ships in the Dominion War, and he actually turned out to be a really good leader for a ship. So he had potential back then in TNG, and then I think they dived the character and they driven the character in the right course in TNG. So in the DS9, so it was a really good character development as well.
I think everyone can agree that Worf evolves more as a character in Deep Space Nine than in TNG.
Yeah, absolutely.
Worf's a great character. He's in many ways I just love that he continued into another Star Trek show. Like that was a really cool thing. And I know that there were rumors that like Michael Dorn was approached. I'm not sure what character he was going to play, maybe Takovma, but he was approached for Star Trek Discovery and declined because I think the money wasn't right or something like that.
I heard that, but I heard like this was way before it was even called Discovery. This was back when we were still calling it Star Trek 2017.
Oh, gotcha.
Apparently, they actually asked Michael Dorn to come back, but then he declined simply because like he was going to get paid like a ridiculously small amount.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well.
So I don't know, like, if this compares to what he was expecting or what like he was paid before, if it's just to the industry standards. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know how pay works, but fair enough. I mean, you have to, you know what you're
Yeah,
worth.
but you know what? If they really wanted him, they could have paid the same amount of money that they actually got Chris Pine coming back to Star Trek 4. So, like, you know, if they really want Michael Dorn to be in Discovery, they could. I mean, that was the latest rumor.
Is all that
was
settled?
That's the latest rumor that he's coming back. They settled an agreement, but a rumor again. So it's like not fully confirmed.
Okay, so Paramount can pay both actors, Hemsworth and Pine, but if they want to make like a smaller budget movie, what they might end up doing is just paying Pine how much he wants and then just letting go of Hemsworth, because Hemsworth just costs too much now. And so they might have
both
to.
Both of them cost too much, actually. So
they might have to rewrite another script and then put that father-son script on the shelf for a second time.
No, but you know what? Paramount. Yeah. I don't think Paramount would be that stupid to miss an opportunity like this. I mean, having Thor and Captain Kirk as Chris Pine in one movie, I don't think they want to get out. You know, just leave this opportunity to actually not to have happened. It would be good for them, good for the franchise, good for everyone, basically Marvel fans, plus DC fans from Chris Pine's sides, and for Trekkies. I'm pretty sure everyone would love to see them playing together for the sake of the story.
I think they should just have Thor on Star Trek, like the actual character
Thor.
Thor should just like appear.
Guardians of the Federation.
The Guardians of the Federation.
Maybe he's gonna be maybe he turns into the green big hand that grabs the Enterprise in the original series.
Yeah, I mean, like,
wow.
The myth revealed.
And this would be like Warhammer Thor too, so it wouldn't even be Mjolnir. It'd be like, and they would have to destroy another Enterprise. Thor single-handedly like destroys all the. You're no match for me.
Spoilers. In Avengers 4, what's going to happen is Tony Stark and friends, they're going to go and seek help from the Federation.
That's it.
Because they need Chris Pine and Captain Kirk and his Mary Crew come and save them from Thanos. They need Q to change the timeline.
Since they're from an alternate universe or another universe, the Infinity Gauntlets has no effect on the crew of the Enterprise because
absolutely not. Come on, it's the glove.
Get that out of my face.
Following what you said, okay, we'll bring this back to the episode. You said something earlier, which is kind of what I wanted to get into. This isn't the most amazing episode of Star Trek, but I mean, how did you put this? You said that it made
me realize there are episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation that I don't like.
That's not what you said. Come on.
Isn't that what I said?
I'm referring to when you said that it's nice to see how good at their jobs they all are.
Oh yeah,
even when they lose their memories. And I think that's very important. Star Trek isn't just like Star Trek is about the utopian future, and it's about showing us, especially TNG. It's about showing us the best of humanity, and I suppose the best of each species that's represented as well. Mm-hmm. And considering like TNG, we're following not only like the Federation in its prime. But also we're following like the flagship with the best officers, with a few exceptions which maybe have some personality flaws, Barclay or Rolaren, but as we know, they're amazing people and they just have to learn to better control themselves or their emotions or whatever.
Right.
So we're following the best of the best. And it's important to show that even when they are somewhat incapacitated, like they don't have their memories, they don't know who they are, they're still able to execute the job. They're still able to be the best crew and perform admirably. And I think that's really important and really great a message.
I agree.
Even if ultimately the episode isn't the most gripping.
Right. I do agree. And I have a theory that Synthahol is the reason why they're so good at their jobs, because they're drinking all the time. You know how Synthahol works. We talked about this before.
Well, no one really knows how it works, but it does. Shake it off, right?
Shake it off. Shake it off.
Okay, I gotta have to leave now. Special shout out to bartender Data, by the way.
Yes.
Well, I just,
What happened there?
I mean, when the whole memory wipe happens, Data's in 10 forward preparing the Sumerian sunset for Troy, and so they get their memories wiped, and she says like, what's my job? And he says, well, I must be the bartender because I'm behind the bar. And then I think at some point like Riker comes in with Ro, and he just looks at Riker and says, would you like a beverage? And
that was
I love
actually
that.
a good scene. That's true. That was really good. I forgot about that. I forgot. See, I was so bogged down by this episode. You just raised the rating a little bit.
This is one of the reasons why you have to tell us, like, well, at least me in advance, what you're gonna record and when.
Yeah, we have to have discussions. That's why we have to have discussions, because it helps us. It helps us deal with Star Trek. Damn it. Talking about Star Trek.
Sorry, go ahead.
Talking about Star Trek helps you deal with Star Trek.
True.
I had a thought that maybe if the races that we had used were how should I put this, more well known to the audience, maybe it would have been easier to grasp. Like, because we're talking about like a war between two races that we've literally never heard of before. And so they try to present it to like us, the audience. We immediately know that this whole thing is a sham, and like there's no war between the Federation and this other race, and so there's no reason for this war to exist. But if, for example, we'd taken an enemy which wasn't too much exploited, but we did know there were enemies like Nausicaans or Breen or something. Then we and they said, oh, we need to attack this Breen outpost, or we need to attack this Nausican, station. Then maybe it would have been more believable from the audience standpoint, because then you would have thought, hey, wait a minute, that like we don't hear too much about it, but there is like an active conflict between us and say like the Tholians or whatever.
You had to bring the Tholians.
I had to bring the Tholians, right?
Tholians.
So I mean, this is maybe it would have helped us, the audience, because not like there's not a single moment where I believe the conflict or believe the fight, and maybe they didn't want to make us believe it. But if it had been a race that we knew, maybe.
It's a shame, because there are, as you pointed out in the discussion, there are a lot of wonderful moments in this episode, but I just feel really strongly that there's no connection or no connective tissue or something, or glue, if you will, kind of holding it all together. Even the ending is cool when they like phaser the bad guy McDuff.
Oh, damn,
like that. It's like really gross and brutal. Like he doesn't instantly,
Yeah, I love it when
well, it's kind of happened in season 1 as well, when they destroyed it.
But we don't see that
coming in lots of little creatures.
You know what? It happens pretty often. Like the thing is, it happens pretty quickly each time. But if you look in every Star Trek series, there's always this gruesome kind of moment where they phase someone, but then it goes through their skin and then flesh and then bones, and then they disappear. And then all of this is always PG somehow, right? On TV.
Well, the reason is because like there's no such thing as that weapon. Like it is fantastical. Like we don't have lasers yet. Like in common.
Fair enough,
use,
but there's no such thing as a Klingon. But if you show a decapitated Klingon on screen, I'm pretty sure it's going to be TV mature.
That's true, but that's why I think 7 and older with your parents. It's not like you don't just plop your kid in front of the TV. And say watch Star Trek. I think it definitely has to be something you watch with your kids, so that you have these casual, informal discussions afterwards about what happened during the show. So I think that's true. But I mean, you're right. It is pretty gruesome. Discovery's the most, though. I've never seen anything like that one scene. Well, quite a few scenes. And I kind of like
bodies in episode 3.
What's that?
No,
the mangled bodies in episode 3.
Bodies. I mean, like, see, Gary's reaction tells you everything.
Have you Have you seen season? Like you've finished The Expanse? I'm sorry, I had to bring this back.
We're back to
Seen
the
it.
Expanse.
Yeah. So Hale, you've seen it?
Yeah. Wait, yes. Yeah, I'm all
All of
caught
it.
up. Yeah.
You're all caught up. So that
all
one
caught up.
moment, that one moment where the ship is going fast and then no longer.
That was awesome.
That blew my mind. Moving on. I'm sorry. that shit is amazing. Anyway,
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a pretty cool
I
thing.
rewatched it like
Well-
5 times. Like, no way. Okay, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Just space travel. What is it? The Epstein drive is pretty cool. There's just a lot of cool
Oh,
things.
so that was like space travel gone wrong or something in that
something
episode.
like that. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
There's a situation, but you have to see it. You have to watch it. I won't say anything.
Yeah, okay. Don't say anything. I'll watch it.
An audience, you have to also watch The Expanse.
Also, everyone needs to watch it. Stop watching whatever it is. Whatever you're watching now isn't important compared to The Expanse. So
yeah,
just-
and we're not interfering with anything because there's no Discovery on the air at the moment, so we're
there's
not.
nothing on the air. Maybe
Yeah, there's
next
nothing on
month.
the air.
Maybe next month we're gonna get a short trek.
Oh, really? Is that true?
Apparently, short treks are there's supposed to be 4 short treks coming out, and they're supposed to come out during autumn before Discovery starts up again. And so if Discovery starts up in like somewhere like January, February, then it should be October, November, December, that kind of stuff, maybe. So I'm assuming the first short trek will come out next month.
Do you think it would be available in Amazon or Netflix or anything?
I don't know how they're going to distribute it worldwide, and I don't know how they're going to distribute it in Canada too, because we don't have it on Netflix or what's it called, CBS.
But you have space.
But we have space, but that's a TV channel. How are they going to promote like a 15-minute short on TV? How does that fit into a TV schedule?
Yeah, that doesn't really. They don't
It's
have.
weird, isn't it?
They might be generous. So like Doctor Who did something cool, which I think when their little webisodes come out, they release them for free on YouTube. So maybe StarTrek.com.
But this isn't a webisode though. I know a lot of people are comparing this to the BBC's Doctor Who webisodes, but they're not. Those webisodes are comparable to what The Walking Dead do. This is actually like an anthology series, like an anthology miniseries, like with mini episodes. And so I don't even know how they're going to release this, like in a physical.
Maybe
format.
they're going to have like one-off in a month, or with a replay, or at some point, like how they do a movie or something. So they're not going to schedule like, oh, they're going to have every Friday or something, just like a one-off in every month.
For all I know, Discovery is still on space currently. I don't know. I'm not watching TV anymore. I don't even have TV. But for all I know, space is continuing to show Star Trek Discovery episodes. And maybe they'll just tag it on to the finale whenever that comes along or whatever.
Maybe.
Anyway, that's supposed to be coming next month, but that means that you still have an entire month to watch The Expanse.
Yeah.
I see. How many episodes are there?
Not too much.
It's like 3 seasons and like 10 episodes a season, is it?
Okay. That's not too bad.
Oh, sorry, 13 episodes a season.
Okay.
Is it? Oh, wait, I'm just gonna
thought it was
confirm
8 to 10. I thought it was 8 to 10, but I could be wrong.
Yeah,
okay,
10 episodes on season 10 episodes season 1, and then 13 for seasons 2 and 3.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so just to go back to this episode, because we talked about this at the beginning, that how the station looks is exactly the same. I did bring up the picture.
Oh, right on.
So if anyone watching this on YouTube, am I sharing now? You can see yourself.
Yeah, there it is. Oh,
so this is from the episode Conundrum that we talked about briefly in this podcast, and
it is a cool design, to be honest.
It is. It looks awesome. And this is the one
huge
from
compared
Justice.
to the Enterprise.
This is the one from Justice. From season 1. It's
pretty much the same, isn't it?
It is
pretty much the same. I'm not sure. Yeah, is it the same? The only thing is, it's obviously in this picture, in this episode, you can see the entire station. In here, it's just like fading in and out. So maybe
the scene you're showing. The scene you're showing, Gary, the picture you're showing is actually an art rendering. It's not even from the episode. But it is correct. That's how it looks.
I mean, that's how it looks, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's it.
In the episode, it looks a lot like that one. Which is crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, but then maybe the
Well-
two races was actually connected, and the Edo just considered that race, the Lysians, as their god, but they didn't even know, like the caretaker from Voyager, because there
Yeah,
wasn't
it's
the
true.
only one, and then the Ocampa thought the caretaker is the caretaker, the mighty god, but then
That's
it
a
was just a
great
station.
tie-in.
So
I doubt it,
yeah.
but amazing. Yeah, maybe. So there was
I
a
like
reference
how
to
Star Trek Voyager is your favorite show, Sean.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. I get.
I can't.
Why do you say it?
I can't wait to
Why do
get
you
to
say that?
those. No, I just like it. I think it's fantastic. I think that like Voyager needs a super fan.
Fight me. Fight me.
Well, that makes the two of us, because I started.
Oh, that's right.
just-
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yes. I just watched the season. Like I just watched the pilot episodes, the double pilot episode for Voyager,
Mhm.
and okay, arguably at this point, I think it's the best of the pilots of Star Trek. I think it is. I think the
agree.
TNG pilot is well, half of it is bullshit. All the Q part of it is terrible to me. I think that the DS9 pilot is atrocious. I don't like the Sullivans in Enterprise. Discovery is like a JJ movie on TV, which is not something I necessarily wanted. And like it's hard to compare the pilots for like the original series and the animated. Like the original series is one episode. It's not a double, but it's very old. But it is good. And the animated series, does that really count? I mean, the animated series does
It's just
count.
a continuation of the original series, so it
does
doesn't
the
really
pilot
count.
count? The pilot doesn't count because it's still the same characters and it's just a continuation. So to me, it's just like season 4 beginning, right?
Yeah.
So to me, Voyager pilot is the best. It's got the most action. It's got the most intrigue. And also, I'm watching my wife react to all of this. She's watching all of Star Trek for the first time. All right. She couldn't give a shit what was going on with TNG. Deep Space Nine, she was actively waiting for the end of the episode because the whole emissary thing is just a bore. It's really long. All right. The original series was interesting to her, but in more of like a cultural way because it's old. She hasn't seen Enterprise yet, but Voyager was the only pilot where she really like. She said this. You know, I didn't feel like watching 3 hours worth of thing. It felt like the double episode that it was, and it was interesting. And then the 2 follow-up episodes aren't terrible, which is really something good for Star Trek when it comes to season 1s.
I mean, I've definitely seen the Voyager premiere recently, and I can't even remember it like being anywhere near that good. But that's okay. Maybe I have to give it a third
But then
chance.
you think this episode is good. So, I mean, you think this episode is bad? Sorry. So I mean,
oh yeah. All right, but so that's an interesting thing. You just kind of ranked all the premieres. What is like your ranking, Gary? I'm curious.
I'm sure we've done this before, but I just can't
know.
remember.
I'm not
This
sure,
is why we
but,
need a database one, because database one will be like, stop, stop. Actually, it's here.
But
You've already
you know,
done this
people,
before.
you
people
won't
are
be able
entitled
to correct
change
yourself.
their minds. What's
You
that?
have to be entitled to change your mind, exactly. It's
Yeah,
not like
so maybe
you
you
said
feel
you said it
differently.
before and it's like, okay, this is written in rocks. It's not written in rocks.
Right.
You can make an update. Like
But
Maybe
here's
the
the
third time I
As it-
watch Star Trek Voyager, I'll love it more.
As it stands, Voyager is my favorite show. As it stands, but then in
Right.
these past 2 years, I've rewatched the original series. I've watched the animated series for the first time. I've watched Enterprise for the first time. I've rewatched TNG, and I'm rewatching Deep Space Nine. And so I haven't rewatched Voyager. It's the only one that I haven't rewatched. So in my mind, in my mind, it's the best show. Like in my mind, it's my favorite. Not necessarily the best, but in my mind, it's my favorite. But then it's the only one that I haven't seen as an adult.
Maybe you shouldn't, because it might change. It might change how you feel about it.
Then
I'm just kidding.
I would easily argue that the animated series is one of the best shows in Star Trek. Which I will say they didn't even mention at the Emmys. I love the whole thing that they did for the at the Emmys.
you know, I was keep looking for that, but I didn't find it.
I can send you a link. It's on literally the Emmy website.
Okay.
But they say 6 TV shows, and I'm gonna excuse them by saying that they were referring to live action shows. because maybe that the animated series isn't like can't get an Emmy. I don't know.
I found
But
the Emmy thing to be awkward at the end because
Sonequa Martin
well,
Green was just standing there and said nothing while William Shatner had the
oh
mic.
yeah, that was kind of weird too. And but then
I
William
would have liked them
Shatner,
both to participate, but
then no, well that was, I mean, like I like that the current and the original, you know what I mean? Like that was a neat thing. But yeah, she didn't speak, which was kind of weird. I wish, because I like also Federer was definitely reading like he didn't seem to like, you know what I mean, like I love him, I forgive him for anything like that, but he was just like kind of like, oh, where's the teleprompter so to speak, and I thought like
my script.
no, but he's a charming man. But it was strange that like I do wish that they had like a script back and forth, just like kind of like a little fun and games between these two iconic actors, and it might have been nice. But it was cool. You're right. And was that Doug Jones in the makeup? Like, was it actually him?
It was
No,
a
okay,
random Klingon and a random what's his name? A random
Kelpian?
God damn it, Kelpian. Yeah,
Kelpian. Okay, yeah, it was interesting.
Okay, I'm going to be nitpicky again. I'm sorry, but they had a Kelpian to represent Discovery. Yes, they should have had like a Klingon, but from the TNG, or they should have had like maybe an original series makeup, something. I don't know.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Just to show that there's been an evolution in I mean, they won Emmys back in the day for like the visuals that they did in the original series and the Next Generation. They should have maybe shown something that they'd won an Emmy for back in the day.
It's clear
because
that
they were nominated
our current professions and go into Hollywood, and specifically into Star Trek, because obviously we have the best ideas.
I think maybe they showed a Kelpian and a Discovery Klingon because Discovery was nominated for Emmys for like outstanding what was it, makeup, and then
and speaking of Emmys,
kind of
this episode was this actual episode, if I remember correctly, I read somewhere was oh, now Arthur's taking a bath. Oh my gosh.
This episode was nominated for an Emmy. Is that what you're trying to say here?
Yeah.
Oh my god, how can you hate this episode?
It was for effects or visual effects. Siri just spoke for no reason. That was really weird.
Conundrum. Wait a minute. It doesn't look like it.
Yeah. Look on the.
I see this nowhere.
The memory alpha. Are you on the memory alpha by any chance?
I'm on the memory alpha, and I'm on the Wikipedia.
Maybe okay, I was just imagining that.
I think something else probably. By the way, I'm sorry. I have to bring this back because now I'm intrigued. Gary, you were gonna rank the pilots?
Voyager, Deep Space Nine, Next Generation, Enterprise, Animated Series, Original Series.
Okay.
Wait, say it again.
Did you get that?
Okay.
No, the pilots, yeah. So it was which ones?
So Voyager, Deep Space Nine, Next Generation. Oh yes, it's the pilots. I think I would be talking about like favorite shows or something.
No, just the pilots.
No, pilots. Okay. Okay. I was confused. I was genuinely confused.
Okay, no, but in terms of show ranks, that's my rank. Although I love all of them equally. For pilots, Voyager, I do. I mean,
you don't.
I do. For pilots, Voyager, PNG, DS9, Enterprise, Animated Series, Original Series.
Very nice.
Okay.
And I'm sure you did notice I didn't mention Discovery.
Yeah, that's why I said no, you don't, because you're not even mentioning Discovery in these lists. That's cold. That's cold. There's a difference between putting Discovery at the bottom and then not acknowledging the existence of Discovery.
We know where you stand, Gary.
If I say the seventh one, it will be an odd number, and I don't believe in odd numbers.
But 7 is the most powerfully magical number in the Harry Potter universe, so
or like the Seven Dwarfs in
will the Old Man Picard miniseries be like part of this ranking that we have, or will it like
be yeah?
Are you kidding? It's a new series, right?
Yeah,
even if it's one season.
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay, fair enough.
It's Star Trek, man. It has Old Man
Yeah, it
Picard
is.
in it. According to Memory Alpha, under the reception section of their article about this
No.
episode, it says that this episode won an Emmy Award
Oh
for
my god.
outstanding individual achievement in
It
special visual
does.
effects, sharing it in a tie with TNG A Matter of Time.
Wow. Okay.
So it wasn't as bad after all then.
Well, no, I mean, like I
Well, I
said the
found
effects are awesome. Like it's true.
that's cool.
But
No,
the Emmys
it wasn't a bad episode for sure. I don't remember being like dismissive
I
about
feel
the
a
whole
little
thing.
bit softer for this episode after having this discussion, but I guess we should just jump to the ratings if you guys don't have anything else specific about this episode to say.
No ratings.
All right, I'll
I
go
had
first because
I wanted to mention the reference
Yeah.
to 47.
Oh yeah,
If I can. Yeah, 47.
that's
So
something
you guys
that
are probably
appears throughout
you guys
Star
are probably
Trek.
aware of this, right?
Yeah, but let's talk about it for the audience if you don't mind.
I don't know,
Okay,
so you
so
can proceed.
okay, so essentially, from what I gather, there's one of the writers in TNG that so he was part of like a group that was called the 47 something so whatever in his college years. And so when he came on to write Star Trek in season 4, he started putting the number 47 in his scripts quite often. The idea is like he believes, or the group that he was part of believed that 47 was the most recurring number in the universe, or something.
Oh,
I can't go too much into that. I don't know too much about that. All I know is starting from season 4 of TNG, they season 4 of TNG, they start adding 47s in quite often. So he starts doing it often, and then all of the other writers had it as a running joke, and then so 47 comes in all the time. And throughout all of Star Trek, even in Star Trek Generations, the movie, the amount of Elorians that Scotty saves is 47. And then
Yeah,
so
that's true.
it is always 47. And so in this episode, they are attacked by 47 like defense pods. Anyway, so it isn't the first time it's mentioned. It probably isn't one of the most important mentions of the number 47. But I just wanted to say that I don't always pick up on them because there's so much. And sometimes it's like Stardate 1404.7. And so you have to get that one.
Okay.
But this one I picked up on because I said there's 47 shuttles. And
That's nice. That's like a little
it is. And so this 47 is, and so from what I gather, there's been no 47 references in any of the Discovery episodes, but there was one in Star Trek 09. There's like 40, like I think it is it Into Darkness or 09? I don't remember. But they do talk about 47 at some point in the Kelvin timeline.
So this is almost like Pixar's A113.
It literally is because it has to do with college years and stuff like that. Well, except Pixar has like a million of these in each of their movies. But yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's cool.
That was a very interesting factoid. I had no idea about the depth of it. I knew a little bit. Oh, Sean just posted.
So there are
link.
47. There are references to 47 in shows like in movies before TNG season 4, but I do think those are just coincidences. It's just fun to retroactively think that there were already references to 47 in the original series, but I don't think they were done on purpose. It's just fun to group them with the whole bunch now.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. All right. Ratings. I'll go first. I was originally going to give this episode a 1, but I've raised my rating to a 3.5.
Oh my God. A 1.
That was in my mind when we started.
The disrespect. How dare you give a 1 to Captain Worf?
Hey, I raised it to 3.5.
How dare you give it how dare you think of a 1 for Picard sitting at his little station next to the turbo lift, acting all shy. Oh dear God.
All right, whoever wants to go next.
Me?
I know you didn't see the episode, Gary, so you could give a gut rating.
A gut
Like,
rating. Does that
What
count?
does your gut tell you? Yeah.
No, I do
Okay.
remember. I do remember this episode back then, but obviously not as detailed as if I would have watched like 2 days ago or something. But I would still give it an 8.5.
8.5.
Yeah.
Boom.
Nice.
Boom.
And just a side note, I just looked up behind the scenes fact, and in Trekkerprise they say first fact, this episode was put on a hold for a year and a half due to the glut of amnesia stories in season 4.
There were.
Okay.
The audience
Not
won't
as exciting than the
remember.
47 story, but there you go.
That's funny.
Yeah, so 8.5 from my side. I do remember enjoying the episode and finding out like what's going on. So it was a good episode.
All right, Sean.
Okay, so I did want to mention a little something. If someone manages to find the one frame that we see the Cetarian or Cetaran or whatever it is starship that attacks them in the beginning, the one that actually sends out the amnesia thing. I remember the front of the ship looking a lot like the USS Defiant. It has that little dinky nose coming out in the front. Anyway, I give this episode a 7.
A 7.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Wow. So the
Well,
average.
Talking
about my rating? Talking about my rating
Yes.
or the ship?
The ship. But the episode as well. Tell us more.
Can you put the ship on screen? Can you see it?
I'm
looking for it.
hang on a second. I'm looking for it as well. Like season 5, is it?
Yeah, wait a minute. I'll try and Cetaran Starship. I have it. Boom. Can I share my screen or something?
Yeah.
Can I do that?
There's that little up. If you click on your window, you'll see the little green screen share.
Oh yeah, I can show that to you now as well.
Okay, well you
Great.
do it. Go. You're more tech savvy than me.
You do it. You know
Tech
what
savvy.
to do. Number
Can
one.
you see it now? Like that
Yes,
is.
there we
that
go.
one?
Oh, what do you know?
So it's Defiant-esque to me.
Oh, look at what's going on here. I think
But
CBS
I
is gonna,
I don't think that's allowed. So I'm just
yes,
going to
CBS is gonna punish me.
Oh my god.
No, there are 4 lights.
There are 4 lights.
There
Anyway, so I
are-
give it a 7, and you give it like an 8.5, and then a 3.5. How much does that make? How much does that give us?
I don't know. You have to add them together and then divide it by 3, I guess.
I think it's fair to you could do it properly if you want to, or we could just
He never does it properly. That's the thing.
I
Yeah.
don't even know. So let's just do the quick math. So 3.5, you said, which is 3.
What's that?
So
I
I
said
gave
3.5.
8.5. Sean gave 7, and you said 2.5.
Mm.
3.5 or 2.5.
3.5. Yeah.
Oh my god. So that's 19, and then that's about 6.3.
Ooh, that's
And
the
then
most
it's a
accurate
6.3.
average
It is
rating
So,
we've ever had
so that's
on
a
the
6.
show.
Is that a 6.5 then?
No,
Six
actually,
point-
it's 6.333. That was the.
But
It's
then
like a
is that a
super
6?
It's like a
Is that a
6
six-
point infinity.
Does that count as a 6 or a 6.5
No, you round-
under
you
Starfleet
round-
Boy law?
You round down. It's the rules of math. If it doesn't go over 5,
Yeah.
you have
Yeah,
to round down.
or you
So
round
it's
up
a
to 5, but it's 3, so it's going round down to
Yeah.
6.
So 6.
Oh dear lord!
Sorry.
I should have given it a 10 just to bring it up.
Actually, it's much better than the original should have been, because if you still keep it 1, then we would have ended up like. Let's just. I'm curious now. So 7 plus 8.5 plus 1. That gives us 5.5.
Oh,
So
Well,
your
good.
discussion saved actually the rating for this episode.
wow.
This is amazing. I feel blessed now. You see, Gary. Not only did Gary come in and give it an 8.5, which brought the ranking way up,
Yes.
but
true.
also I managed to convince Sahel. The discussion managed to convince Sahel to
It's
take
true.
it up.
To take it out, that I was being a little too
So that-
harsh. I was being,
This is awesome.
I was being too
That's
harsh
amazing.
on the episode. It's true.
On
Yeah.
Mr.
That's
McDuffie from the
Maybe.
24th and a half century.
Maybe if we eventually someday rate the Deep Space Nine pilot, I'll go easy on it. Maybe.
Well, for that discussion, you definitely have to have me because I kind of like it, so I might. I love it, so I'm going to contradict on you a few things. I'm pretty sure.
Very nice. I look forward to that day, gentlemen. This was lovely. We actually are doing pretty good at staying close to an hour. But we went a little over. We're trying to, we're always trying to manage our time here on Starfleet Boy. But before I go, I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you for coming on the show, guys. And I want to let our audience know that they can see more of Gary on his channel, Trekkerprise.
Hopefully soon, because currently I'm on a hiatus.
This is true, but it's okay. Like, new people don't know that. New people are just going to watch your content, so it's exciting.
Probably. That's exciting.
Yeah, no worries.
And there's so many awesome stuff coming soon.
It's true. And I want to take this moment to publicly say this because I don't remember if I ever told you in an email or anywhere, because sometimes I think things and then I can't get to a keyboard fast enough to remember. But I really enjoyed your travel video that you posted with I can't remember his name right now. Oh, that's
Taylor?
terrible. Yes, Beard versus Geek, right?
Yeah. And just a side note, from that road trip, there are actually 3 extra videos that I haven't published yet. Those are like Star Trek related videos, like just a little sneak peek. Vasquez Rocks is coming, Starfleet Academy is coming, and the Griffiths Observatory is coming. Some interesting little. Some interesting little snippets.
Well, we get Battlestar Galactica fans such as myself got a nice treat when you guys went to the set of Battle, where they filmed some of the scenes in Battlestar Galactica at the university or whatever it was.
Oh, in Vancouver, yeah.
In Vancouver, yeah.
We went there because it was a Stargate location for.
That was Stargate location, but Stargate. You know what? It's also Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
They reused the sets, or like the look, that building, that cool brutalist building with the columns and the thing that you guys went to with the lake there. That's in Battlestar Galactica as well. Right there, it is in Stargate, and that's what you guys are talking about in the scene. So I totally did my own headcanon on that one, but yeah, so super cool. Check out Trekkerprise, and then of course check out also Sean, who is the manager. Oh, he just disappeared.
Oh my
God! Who
God.
manages Trek on the Tube? So he can't plug himself, so we'll just plug him. We're not sure what happened to him. He disappeared, but I think he's on a little hiatus as well. There he is. There you are.
So suddenly I thought maybe that was too much advertisement from me.
Yeah,
so I can't deal with this.
Yeah, you were offended. I was like, what? We're promoting I'm promoting your channel. You just drop off the face.
I was trying to close my active tab, which I had opened the Starship on that I wanted to show on screen, but I was unable to share that. So I just wanted to close it, and then when I came back, I clicked on the cross and just closed the Hangouts video instead of. I do apologize. Thank you for promoting me. I'm sorry for leaving. I'm back.
Awesome. And of course, less frequently on, but also good old chums, Ketwalski, the real Ketwalski, and Trekkie Rob. So check those guys out too. And I just want to also mention that I should be mentioning this more often, but for podcast listeners, the music, the original Starfleet Boy theme that you hear at the beginning of the show is composed by my good friend and a sometimes guest, Jamie Guy Metivier, who you can hire. You can also hire Gary, by the way, who does all the artwork for Starfleet Boy. and you can try a pastry that Sean made. Yeah.
I don't send pastries through the mail. I don't do that. You won't be getting any cakes.
Gary does send them though, and I have to say that's a wonderful treat. But anyway, but
I don't know
anyways,
who you're talking about.
but anyways, you could find Jamie and commission him to do music for your podcast, if you want to, or anything else. He can be found as Brain Doodoo. That would be wonderful if Patrick Stewart read that. You can find him as Brain Doodoo on Twitter. So yeah, and if you're wondering
And-
how it's spelled in the standard way, Brain
And
Doodoo.
following on that note, if it's the first time that anyone listens to Starfleet Boy podcast, then please go and check out their rest, because there's so many awesome conversation going on with me, with Sean, with with loads of different guest stars. So please go and
Yeah, it's
have
a crazy
have
ride.
a good look on the content, because it's awesome and it's track filled.
Very Trek filled, and we sometimes talk about other things like The Expanse. So on that, live long and prosper, and we'll see you guys next time. And I really had so much fun. So thank you very much.